What's up, everybody? Josh Clow here. If you guys haven't noticed already, the NFL draft is only about 3 weeks away, and as of right now, the Dolphins still hold the fifth overall pick for the 2020 draft. Although speculations on draft day, it could move up, they could move down. We won't really know until when that happens, but from what I'm hearing, I think they're going to stick at number five. But it really depends who's available, who's not available. If they like a guy who thinks he might be at 7 or 8, they might back down 2 or 3 positions. But right now, they still hold the fifth overall pick. Today, I'm going to be talking about instead of getting Tua, or let's say Tua gets nabbed in the second overall pick by the Redskins, or someone trades up to get him on the second or third pick, what should the Dolphins do instead of Tua, or he's not available, who's our next best player? And a lot of people are speculating offensive line, getting a tackle, building that offensive line. And in my opinion, I do agree. But I think who Brian Flores is, if you guys don't know much about him, he was on the New England Patriots for most of his NFL career, if not all. Started out scouting. He's moved in different positions, but he was mainly defense when he was starting doing position, especially in 2018 or 2018 when he was the defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots, where they shut down the electrifying Rams offense in the Super Bowl to just 3 points. So this guy's more defensive minded than he is offensive minded, although he's pretty equal to all three, but everyone has a preference. I feel like for him, he's going to be more leaning on the defensive type of guy than the offensive type of guy. And let's be real here, defenses win championships. We've seen that many, many times before. Great example, which I'm going to be really discussing about today, is the Legion of Boom for the Seattle Seahawks. From 2011 to about 2017, 2018, they were a force to be reckoned with. 6 consecutive winning seasons, 3 division titles, back-to-back NFC championship wins with back-to-back Super Bowl appearances, winning 1 Super Bowl. And we've seen other times before, the 85 Bears, the 2002 Ravens, even the Ravens in 2012 was pretty decent. The 2015 Broncos. So defense is going to win you championships. Sometimes offense will win you championships. If you saw the Eagles and Patriots, that was just a shootout. But I think the Dolphins should go defense on the fifth overall pick. And the guy that I'm really leaning towards, which it's going to be a wild card because he may not be there at 5, but it really depends on the situation when it comes down to it, is as Isaiah Simmons from Clemson. Watching some highlights on him, some film, doing some research on him, his stats. They're saying this guy is the next Brian Urlacher, and he's a Hall of Fame linebacker for the Bears. I mean, he took them to a Super Bowl appearance back in, I believe, 2006, where they lost against Peyton Manning, but that was a really good defense that year. He's always been consistent, and Isaiah Simmons, he's definitely shown potential that he could be the next best thing going into the NFL, into his future. And why I think the Dolphins should go after him is if you look at our history of defense, definitely in the last couple of years, one of our biggest issues has been defense, but mostly the rush defense. We've been the bottom half of the league for I don't even know how many years. I can't find stats like that anymore. Google tried for like 30 minutes to an hour, but I know just from just remembering the past 10 or so years, we've had a really bad rush defense, which has definitely cost us a lot of games. Offense can't stay on, and then the defense goes over. Defense, haven't had a break. They're doing another 6-7 minute drive, just pounding, pounding, pounding. And you're seeing today's running backs, Christian McCaffrey, Delvin Cook. I mean, those guys are, and Saquon Barkley. The running back game is definitely changing. And then you still have heavy hitters like Derrick Henry, who is going to probably get 100 yards rushing, 150 yards rushing, getting a couple touchdowns. I mean, he led the league in rushing. I think he tied with touchdowns. I think he had 15 touchdowns But watching Isaiah Simmons, this man can read an offense. Just his years in Clemson, he knew the play was going to happen. He could read it. He followed the ball. He's a ball hawk. If it was going to be a fake going out to the out route, that man was already on his tail. He gets to the ball quick, like I just said. He's a very hard hitter. He's a run stopper, like I said. Our rush defense has been terrible. And then he rarely missed tackles, which has been a big thing for the Miami Dolphins the last couple of years. Missing easy tackles, a 2-yard gain turns into 11 to 15-yard game, which that kills the Dolphins. 2019 season, 135.4 yards rushing in game that the Dolphins had allowed, which was the 27th worst. Wasn't the worst in the NFL, but that's a lot of rushing yards between a team, between a couple running backs and then whatever your quarterback is at the time. And in our division, we got Josh Allen, who has proven to be a rushing quarterback as well. He has killed us plenty of times, having a couple 100-yard rushing games. And if we want to compete in the division, definitely with the Bills, who are stacked, great defense, great offense, a pretty solid coaching team who's probably could potentially run the division the next couple of years, we need to stop Josh Allen. That is the first important thing. We can't even talk about Super Bowl until we win our division. Yeah, we can make Super Bowl in a wild card, but you want to be consistent. You want to be a dynasty like the Patriots was, or the Steelers were back in the 70s. This is what we need. That's what they need to start doing. So, Isaiah Simmons, just his 2019 stats alone, he had 104 tackles, 7 sacks, 1 forced fumble, a fumble recovering, 3 interceptions, and 16 tackles for losses. He was all over the field. 2018, kind of less stats, 89 tackles, 1.5 sacks, 3 forced fumbles. He didn't have a fumble recovery. He did have an interception that was returned for a touchdown, though. So he could be anywhere on the field, definitely on the linebacker. He can cover it, he can run stop, and that's what the Dolphins need. The last time the Dolphins had a Pro Bowler, just a Pro Bowl linebacker, was Zach Thomas back in 2006. So we've gone 14 years without a Pro Bowler on our linebackers. And it's sad that we haven't really been able to draft a linebacker. And in today's game, in my opinion, definitely for watching the New England Patriots, how they run their offense, doing a lot of cross routes and slants, you need to have 1 to 2 Pro Bowl to All-Pro linebackers to really start getting your defense going. Those guys, are supposed to be the leader. They can call the plays. They can see everything what's going to happen. That's the guy you want, the role model. That's what you want. Kiko Alonso was kind of like that, but never really had a Pro Bowl year. He had the numbers because he was probably the best, he was the best linebacker for the Miami Dolphins, but you put him to other guys, they kind of beat him out for it. Yeah, he got tackles, but he wasn't that impact player, playmaking, pick 6 to win the game, final drive. He's the guy that ends that final drive so we can win. That's who the Dolphins really need to move forward and basically build their Legion of Boom. And just doing some quick research on the Legion of Boom, on the players that they had, just a couple of them, Richard Sherman, Earl Thomas, Cam Chancellor, Bobby Wagner, KJ Wright, Michael Bennett, Irvin, and then Byron Maxwell. He was part of that Super Bowl winning team as defense back in 2013, and he had a pretty solid year. It took him 3 years to really build that Legion of Boom. In 2010, they got 2 of their picks, which was 2010, which was Earl Thomas, which was a first-round pick. And then, where is it? And then Cam Chancellor was a 5th-round pick. 2011, they got 3 more guys adding on to it, which was in the 4th, 5th, and 6th rounds, which was Richard Sherman, KJ Wright, and then Byron Maxwell. And then going to 2012, their first and second picks, or first-round, second-round picks, was Bobby Wagner, 2nd round, and then Bruce Irvin at 2012. That was their first round pick. And like I said, 6 consecutive winning seasons, 3 division titles, back-to-back Super Bowls. That defense ran that team. Now, granted, they did have Russell Wilson. He got him out of some tight spots every once in a while, but that defense is the reason why they have a Super Bowl ring. Definitely for shutting down Peyton Manning, and then why they got into the Super Bowl again the following year. So, if I'm Brian Flores, 5th overall pick, you're going to get the best linebacker in this draft. You're going to get the best linebacker you might see for the next couple of years, and you're just going to build it around it. You already got your 2 corners. You already got Byron Jones. You got Xavier Howard. Your front, you're building it. You got Christian Wilkins, what we got last year. Shaq Lawson's coming in. You're really building that. You're building the line, and then linebacker, you have Kyle Van Noy, who could really teach him how to be a linebacker. What they did in the Patriots to have one of the top scoring defenses in the last decade. That's where the Patriots got most of their success from, was their scoring defense. Yeah, some days they had 500 yards that they gave up, but if you only give up 6 points, that's all that really matters. So he can definitely learn from Kyle Van Noy, learn what the Patriots did, and just be the best possible player the Dolphins could probably have. And then when you have that, he's covering, he's pressuring. That's when Byron Jones and Xavier Howard can actually do their job and be the nasty cornerback duo that everyone is projecting them to be. So, and then right before I'm gonna wrap up, if you guys never looked at his combine stats, simple combine stats, he's 6'4". 6'4". His 40-yard dash, he ran 4.39, which was the fastest among linebackers. So this dude is fast, ball hawk, can go from end to end within seconds. His vertical jump was 39 inches, which was 3rd best in the linebackers, and his board jump was 132 inches, which was ranked 2nd on linebackers. So this guy is potentially the real deal. And on top of that, he did play safety in his 2017 year with Clemson. So he could move around if necessary, depending on play calling. Brian Flores likes to switch up play calling. If the Dolphins get really lucky, and they do get the Legion of Boom, their version of Legion of Boom, or you just need depth, maybe they don't have a linebacker spot right now this year going into his rookie year, but we need someone at safety for a couple plays. You can move him there, maybe put him on the DN, see what he can do. This guy could potentially play different positions, kind of how Jalabi Peppers, however you pronounce his name, who played for Michigan, who was on the Browns, who played every position on the team, offense and defense, and proved that he's a pretty solid player. So Isaiah Simmons, potentially, that could be it. So now if Isaiah Simmons is not on the board at 5, Dolphins should definitely go offensive tackle at that point. The only reason why I want Isaiah Simmons is because Isaiah Simmons is probably the best defensive player on that team behind Chase Young. But Isaiah Simmons probably has better upside, I guess. I'm not really sure. Those two guys are pretty edge on edge. They played in different areas, or different conferences, and played different teams. But Isaiah Simmons for the Dolphins is probably the best case scenario. I know that Dolphins do want to build the offensive line, get the run game going, the pass protecting. Definitely, you don't want to have the number 1 sacked quarterback continuous years again, but defense wins championships, and that's where the Dolphins should start leaning to, because we have not had a really great top 10 defense in a very long time, and that was Dan Marino's problem throughout his career. Never really had a defense. Yeah, one of the top-notch offenses in the league, but no defense, no ring. You can tell that the Chiefs were last year, number 1 offense, but their defense was god-awful. That's why they lost the AFC Championship to the Patriots. You can score 40 points a game, but if you give up 41, you're not going to win. So Brian Flores needs to start building his version of Legion of Boom, essentially get to a top-notch defense, and that's how the Dolphins are truly going to win, be a dynasty, be a championship-level team, regardless who your quarterback's going to be. Yeah, you want to get a great quarterback, There are quarterbacks in the second round that the Dolphins could get. Also, Dolphins have 3 first-round picks, so you may have to skip on Tua, but there are definitely other guys available that could that can get the job done and just ball out. That's how Russell Wilson was. Fourth pick, beat out whoever it was at the time, and the rest is history. But that's all I got to say on this video. Dolphins getting Isaiah Simmons for the 5th overall pick. Would I say trade up to get him? Really depends what they're whatever team is offering. I don't think the Dolphins should trade up to get Isaiah Simmons, because an offensive tackle is just as great at 5. But let me know down below in the comment section what your thoughts on who the Dolphins should get at 5. A lot of you guys are going to say get Tua, but if Tua is not available, if the Redskins snag Tua at 2, or a team does trade up at 2 and grab him, whether it's the Chargers or any other team that wants him, what's the next best player available? Do you want to tackle? Do you want to go defense? Maybe do you want a D lineman instead of a linebacker? Should the Dolphins trade up and get Chase Young instead? Tell me what your thoughts are. Would love to discuss it, debate, whatever you guys really want conversation-wise. Let me know down below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys on another video. Thank you guys all your support, and later.